Oi, we're live. Oi, oi, oi. Yes, Casanovians. Wanna show you. Yeah, sign up for the Entourage. No, but like, I want to show you this picturesque panoramic. Da, 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 da. That is so nice. If this doesn't inspire FOMO, I have no idea what will. Look at how beautiful this view is. Oh, we made it to the big time.
Yeah, you fucking. You guys are lame.
Yeah, you got so lame.
There's a Turkish side.
Oh my god, that's a Turkish slash. But yeah, we're actually live anyway, so. Yeah, we are. Yeah, yeah.
I'll get my drink.
Okay, fine. But yeah, we wanted to make this live for you boys. Well, so we're out in Nicosia, just to drop a lot of value, etc. So I just I got a haircut. So I'll tell you the story whilst Ephraim is getting his, whatever he's getting. So, oh, he's gonna jerk off, it's fine. So I went to this barbershop, and you know what I'm always saying to you boys, like the more you spend, the more you make. So like I went to this barbershop in Nicosia, just like this random barbershop, like on the outside, just like a very grotty barbershop. As soon as I got inside, they just made me feel like an absolute king. Like, amazing customer service. Like the guy was like, the guy who cut my hair was from Belgrade in Serbia. So we were like, just like talking about life, and he was like, what do you do? So I told him what I did, and he was like, wow, you can actually make money like that. So I basically like gave him a blueprint for how to make money online, and like he was so like grateful for that. He's like, yeah, my dream is like I want to go to Cuba and just like be with like Cuban women and have this like old timer in the back of my Cadillac. It was just nice. So like the haircut cost me 15 euros. I paid him 40, like 40, because I wanted to put my energy, which is basically what money is, I wanted to invest my energy into that guy's dream. So I was like, listen, I'm going to pay you 40 euros. It's almost like triple what the haircut costs. Because I was like, yeah, you've given me like such a good service. You gave me a beer, gave me a great haircut. Like, let me show you the haircut. look at that fade, man. Look at that fade. So just like actually valuing good work is super important. Anyway, I term this live stream for anyone who's struggling with cold approach. This is your sign. So I've got someone who sat with me. Oh, yeah. So like it's like almost like less than a year ago, this guy who was sat next to me was a complete beginner. Like complete beginner to cold approach. He'd never done a daytime approach in his life. And now almost 1 year later, he is now better than most people who've ever done this, right? So like in less than a year, he's completely transformed his life in terms of transformed his life with women, relationships, business, personal branding, like everything. Like everything has changed in like less than a year. So really this is your sign to just go all in with this skill set because it can change your life so much. So I thought, what would be useful, because I put out a poll on my channel. I was like, all right, boys, tell me, how long do you actually want these live streams to be? Most people said they wanted like a 30-minute live stream. So we're going to try and pack in as much value as possible in 30 minutes, right? So rather than me telling you, oh yeah, if you're new to cold approach, this is what you do, what I thought would be more useful would be to actually hear from someone who's like less than 1 year into their journey, like to just give you boys just like massive amounts of motivation. Like if you actually apply yourself and actually go hard with this skill set, like showing you like what's actually available in less than 1 year, right? So like even if you're completely new to this, maybe you've been out the game for a while, you just need some motivation, or maybe you consider yourself like a seasoned player. I think everybody can learn from the story and the anecdotes which are going to be shared. So yeah, for you, having done this now for like less than 1 year, what would you say to anybody who is just starting out on their journey? Like, what would be like the best pieces of advice you can give to somebody who's just beginning their cold approach career? I'll let you hold it.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, so I'll start by highlighting the day so far. So
I'll do star jumps in the background.
Yeah, perfect. He's gonna do burpees.
Oh, you want me to do a burpee?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck's sake, man.
Sit, go!
I'm just doing one, right? I'm just doing one.
All right, so, yeah, like he said, so he went to get his haircut, right? So, long story short, me and Kristian, we booked this Airbnb in Nicosia. It's pretty fucking solid, boys, I'll say. We have 3 balconies, which honestly I didn't expect, but...
There's a sign there which says no diving. It literally says no diving.
Yeah, we'll be sure to respect that, but... Yeah. So yeah, first I'll start by highlighting my day. So yeah, we started off. Christian went to get his haircut, and I freshened myself up. I decided in the meantime, let me go and do my approaches. So I did 4 before I met up with Christian. And yeah, I mean, similar to the previous live streams that we talked about, like all 4 out of 4 were rejections, which is something that we have to get used to. But the point here is that I went in, regardless of outcome, I went in knowing that like I play to win. So I had a few approaches, a few interactions. Most of them led to solid conversations, and then I met up with Christian. We went back to this place where we got some Long Islands, and this is what we talk about when we say lifestyle, right? Like, it's the approaching is just the skill set. The actual value is in being able to apply the skill set whenever you want. So we were sat there drinking our Long Islands, and Christian, same as last week, he kept pointing him out. Oh, do you like her? Oh, do you like her? I'm like, yeah, I like her. Yeah, I like her. And specifically, this being our last weekend, I wanted to make sure that I can get some double dates lined up, same as last. So I went in for multiple, that there were 2, there were 3 girls, and actually made something happen, right? The highlight of this interaction was I went in for a group of 2. One was a German girl, and one was from Greece. And I was able to keep them engaged in conversation. I was able to keep them like wanting to talk to me. And it turned into a solid interaction where, like, at one point I was just I was like, yeah, my friend, he pointed you guys out, and this is brutal honesty, right? This is the transparency we talked about. He goes, yeah, my friend, or I go, yeah, my friend, he points you out. He goes, are they American? And I was like, let's find out. And I literally verbalized this to the girls. So the reason I'm telling you this is to show you that the content of the conversation is like the last bit of information that matters.
Woo! Say that again.
The content of the conversation. what?
That's true though.
No, seriously. Like, what really matters is the presence that you bring with you, is the energy. So I went in. I go, yeah, my friend, he pointed you out. He goes, wow, they're cute. Are they American? And I ran up to them, and that was literally my open. I go, hey, okay, real quick, do you speak English? Yes. Okay, cool. So the reason I came up to you is my friend and I, we were drinking Long Islands at a bar, and he literally pointed at both of you, and he goes, are they American? And I go, let's find out. And it's funny how, like, a solid conversation, and I wish we got this on GoPro, but I ended up having like a 10, 20, I'd say like a 12-minute conversation with them. They ended up giving both of me, or they both ended up giving me their Instagram, and they were interested in hanging out with us. So point being, the content of the conversation is the least of your worries. The actual difficulty is getting over the initial hurdle of going in for the approach. So if I'm here telling you, like, what is my advice as somebody who's a beginner at this, my advice is that the approach itself is really the only skill set that you need to nail down. Everything that I do subsequent to the approach is the social skills that I've built. And that is not like me approaching women. That is just me talking to everybody. That's me getting acclimated to whatever environment that I'm in. I'm in a new country. I'm in a new culture. I'm uncomfortable. But the point is, I still go in. So my best advice to you, I know we want to keep this brief. So my best advice to you is you need to get over your initial hurdle. That is the most difficult part, right? It's the approach. It's everything surrounding the approach. It's scary. I understand that. So my advice to you is you have to solidify your approach. And we'll talk about this more on the live stream. But in order to solidify your approach, you need to be able to connect with people that can teach you what the approach is. So in fact, me and Christian, we were talking about this earlier. And I'm like, wow, I think the best thing that happened for me is that I went in for literally 0 approaches before I worked with Christian. So it was kind of like a blank canvas. And I went in, I arrived in Warsaw having 0 approaches in, which in my mind, I was like, damn, I wish I was doing more. But in reality, it was a benefit to me because I had nothing to lose and nothing to gain. It was a blank slate, which allowed a teacher that was already proficient in the space to start painting on the canvas. And if we're talking about the canvas was my mindset. The canvas was my skill set. The canvas was what I can do with the approach. So yeah, my best advice to you is you have to get over the initial hurdle. And I say that's going to be the theme for this live stream. So I'll pass it over.
Yeah, for me, I would be curious to know how your overall mindset has changed since you were a complete beginner to this. So like never cold approached a girl in your life.
God.
Then you came and like flew from the States, joined me in Warsaw for an entire month. Like, how do you think, like, if you were to give, like, imagine that you had a son right now, and imagine you were teaching your son how to cold approach.
Okay.
What would be like the biggest shift in mindset which has helped you the most, like from like this first year? Because you've been doing it now for like less than a year, and you've just had crazy results.
Yeah.
Like I think you've had more results in less than a year than most guys are going to have in their entire lives.
Yeah.
But like I was saying to you over Long Island iced teas. It's all about the mindset. Like your mind matters more than your face. Your mind matters more than your bank balance. Your mind matters more than the clothes that you wear. Like what do you think was the biggest mindset shift for you, which enabled you to get the results that you've got?
Yeah. So, yeah, a few thoughts here. So my first thought is so when I first arrived in Poland, I was most scared of approaching because I thought that there was something wrong with it. I thought that...
That's important.
Yeah, I thought that me going up to a girl was kind of like amoral. It was kind of like there was something shady going on. Like the only people that approach people normally are the people, we have something to sell somebody. We have something to try to attract somebody into. So the biggest hurdle for me at first was getting over the fact that approaching anybody, but specifically women, it's okay. Like, it's legal. You're allowed to do these things. And in Poland, I realized that, I'll share a story first. So I remember, I think this was approach number 3 or 4. And I went in for it. We were in Poland. We were in a busy street. And there was a police officer around. And I remember seeing the police officer and seeing the girl and thinking like, whoa, there's no way I can go in for this, because as soon as I go and approach the girl, the police officer, like this is what was happening in my mind, right? The police officer is gonna storm me, he's gonna tackle me, he's gonna punch me, he's gonna say like, what are you doing? Why are you harassing women? In reality, and I'll break it down very simply for you boys. In reality, what's happening is I'm a human going up to another human to literally deliver a compliment, and that's it. Like, that is the beginnings of it. And if it goes anywhere after that, great. But if not, like that is the bare bones minimum. Is I'm a human, I'm going to another human to say, excuse me, you passed me, I thought you were beautiful. And Kristian says this all the time. Nobody's allergic to a compliment. So there's nothing wrong with me going up to a girl, regardless of who's around, regardless of who's listening, regardless of who's with her, right? Aside from a boyfriend, a husband, whatever. Assuming all is well, there's nothing wrong with me going up to a girl and telling her, excuse me, like I passed you and oh my God, like I thought you were so beautiful. I couldn't help myself. I had to come and talk to you. And that's exactly what I was learning, is that for some reason, maybe it was Disney Channel for me, maybe it was Nickelodeon for others. It was just the way that we were brought up, the people that taught us. We for some reason, we thought that there was something so illegitimate about us going up to a girl and declaring our desire. For me personally, it was when I would do this over text, when I would do this to girls when I was in school, and I would get backlash from it, right? My friends would be like, what are you doing? The girls they would screenshot my text, they would send it to other girls, and I'm like, oh my God, like, and there was this stigma around showing your intent. So I understand why it's so scary, because I experienced it also. But the truth is, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, you'll find when you start to actually develop this skill set, girls really love that because there's so few men that are willing to do that. So the first thing I learned was that there's nothing actually wrong with going up and showing your intent. If anything, it puts you above the pack because most guys are not willing to do something anywhere near that. The most they can do is send a DM on Instagram or send a message on Tinder saying, wow, you look good, wow, you're hot. But there's no substance there. There's no actual risk there, right? You send a message on Tinder, she can unmatch you, she cannot respond to you, and nothing ever happens to you. There's no risk there. Versus in public, you're surrounded by people that are watching you, that are hearing you. And yeah, this is kind of a abstract topic itself, but there's something about that actually really turns the girl on. Like, she sees your level of boldness. She sees the fact that you're willing to just say, fuck it. I know that there's people at the restaurant that are going to hear us. I went up to a pair of two girls that I was talking about, right? There was like 6, 7 guys from Cyprus that were literally pointing at me, watching me, making fun of me as I was approaching and talking to these girls. But that's the point, is there's an audience there. Is that, like, I'm willing to put myself in front of people, in front of an audience, and still, regardless of them hearing me, regardless of them watching me, I'm able to declare my desire. And that is what we're trying to communicate to you. That's what attracts the girl. That's what she is actually interested in. It's like, yeah, I have 60,000, whatever. I have so many guys that are hitting me up on all of these various social media sites, but there's so few. I mean, there's probably none, but just to give them the benefit of the doubt, there's so few men that are actually willing to just put their ego on the line and come up to me in public and do it. And that is what sets you apart, right? That's why I've been able to seemingly build this skill so quickly. In reality, all I'm doing is I'm following Kristian's coaching. All I'm doing is he's giving me drills and I'm going in for them. And now, 8, 9 months removed from that, I'm still implementing the same stuff. I'm still just going in for the girls that I like. And regardless of who's around, regardless of who's watching me, I go in, I put my ego on the line, they look at me, they decide if they like me or not. And honestly, most of the time they don't like me. And that's okay, right? Like, we have to become okay with that. So yeah, that's been my biggest takeaway for sure. And what I could teach the group is that it's okay to go in for the approach, like as scary as it seems. And I of all people, I understand that it's so fucking scary to do it. But you've seen me on video, you've seen Kristian on video, we go in anyways. And that is what attracts the girl. Like, that's why she is so attracted to the approach, why she's so turned on by that. So yeah, that's what I could share for sure.
Yeah, I think it comes down to being more excited to win than you're scared to lose, right? Like, that's the only mindset that you need. Like, if you are a beginner, if you're someone who's struggling with cold approach right now, you only need one great approach for your entire mindset to change. That's all you need. You just need one great approach that girl, she really reciprocates your advances. That's all you need. Like, evidence has got the loudest voice. If you just approach, it goes really well, your entire reality is shifted. Like, yeah. It's like if you've only ever made like $1,000 a month and all of a sudden you make $20,000, like, that then becomes your new normal. And it's like making the unusual usual. Yeah. It's like, right, now, once upon a time, $1,000 a month was my average. Now I'm doing $20,000. Like, that becomes your new normal. And then you almost start to experience success in advance. You almost start to go into every conversation feeling a sense of entitlement. Because, like, if not this girl, then someone else. Was there something you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, well, so less about what I wanted to add, but something about a topic that me and Kristian were talking about today over Long Island iced teas.
Always.
So, of course. So, yeah, we introduced this topic, and it's still loose, it's still in progress, but what we were talking about is, so my experience with Kristian was I hadn't done a single approach yet, right? And there's guys that have worked with Kristian that were kind of already in the game, they're already in the industry, and they did their approaches, they learned what they learned, and then they worked with Kristian, but their progress, as great as it wasn't as exponential as my progress. And so we were trying to dial in on that, right? We were like, why was it that I was able to go from nothing to everything in a month, right? In the last 8 months. And I think we found like a pretty solid thesis on this. So, and I'm gonna phrase this as a question because I think you have more thoughts on this than I do. So we talked about this phrase of putting points on the board. And for me, I had no points on the board meeting Kristian. I had 0, right? I had never gone in for a single in-person, in public, in daylight approach. So we talk about this thesis of like, it's important to get points on the board early. But what does that mean? Why is it important?
Yeah. So for me, it's getting dark now.
Let's face the light, yeah?
Yeah. Where's the light? Oh yeah, go
right
on.
here.
Let's turn around. Yeah, so getting points on the board is super important because if you're completely new to this, then I think personally that the worst thing that you can do as a beginner is try and do all of this on your own. Because what's happening, if you're trying to do all of this on your own, right, with no feedback, no support, no accountability, nobody to pinpoint where you're going wrong, then you can be accumulating a lot of bad habits and a lot of self-limiting beliefs that don't actually need to be there. So like by getting someone to help you early doors, it makes the process so much more seamless because before myself and Ephraim worked together, he'd done no approaches whatsoever. So it meant that he was a complete blank canvas. Mm-hmm. But like, if you're someone who's been in the game, like God forbid, you've been trying to do this on your own for the past year, you've got no results whatsoever, you're creating more of a barrier for entry. So the best advice I can give to anybody who is new to this is just to get mentored as quickly as possible, because the sooner that you can get mentored, the sooner you can actually start to get points on the board. You can get somebody to audit what you're doing wrong, who can introduce you to like-minded people. But yeah, look, if you're trying to do every single thing on your own with no feedback, no support, and no accountability, then it's my experience that you're basically wasting your time. Like, there's no point in trying to do all of this on your own. Like, your ego's too high. You're like, yeah, I can do it all on my own. Well, the reality is, you're probably not going to be able to do it all on your own. I think it's important to be able to drop your ego. Like, in any skill set that you want to improve, you get a mentor, right? If you want to learn boxing, if you want to learn a language, if you want to learn business, like, you join a mentorship program. Like, I've spent like tens of thousands of dollars at this point in my life on mentorship, on network, on accountability, because like, I want to get to where I want to be faster. Like, I don't want to be pissing my time away. Like, oh, well, I can do all this. You're not. Like, you're not. Like, if you're trying to do everything on your own, you're basically wasting your time, especially in the modern dating world that we live in. Like, it's just difficult. Like, cold approach is a difficult skill, and you do need to have people who can actually support you on this journey for your mental health as well. It's like, it's difficult. Like, it can just destroy you mentally if you don't actually have people who understand the things that you're going through.
Yeah. And I'll add a more like tangible definition to what I was talking about. So when we were talking about points on the board, right? So I arrived in Warsaw having done 0 approaches in my entire life as far as like daytime, organic, sober, cold approaches. And what I learned is that when we were talking about this today, points on the board means like positive reference experiences. So when I went for my first 10, 20, 30 approaches, I got blown out, right? These are like negative points on the board. This is like the opponent is scoring the points. If we were to really put this into terms. And what I realized is if I had done this on my own, if I had gotten so many of the opponent's points on the board, I wouldn't have been nearly as
Optimistic.
Yeah, as optimistic to continue on with what I was doing. Whereas having somebody next to me is what allowed me to go, okay, the opponent scored, but like we can also score. We can go on the offense too. So for me, and this is unique to me because I didn't do any cold approaches prior to working with Kristian, is the score was 0-0 when I met Kristian, right? And I had somebody next to me so that as I was going in for scores, right, as I was shooting my shot with all of these girls in Warsaw, and I was getting blown out over and over and over again, this was the opponent scoring points. Or you could look at this as me losing points, sure. But what I learned is that when I started getting results, when I started getting points on the board, this is what we talk about, it started to fuel me with this positive momentum, kind of a cycle where I go, okay, I can actually get a phone number. And it went from like me approaching the girl and not getting anything to me approaching the girl and getting a positive experience, to me approaching the girl and getting her phone number, to me approaching the girl and getting a date lined up, right? To me approaching the girl and having the date end up in an incredible experience. And like, this is all a cycle that I had to go through. But I realized that when I was trying to do it on my own, I talked to Kristian about this. I went out multiple times and I tried to do my approach, but like I was too shit scared to do it. And that was like me feeling the negative points on the board. This is me stacking points on the opponent's side. When in reality, the key is to come with a blank slate if you can, right? If you can't, that's in the past. But if you can, if you're somebody who's never approached a girl, then you have people, right? Hopefully you've stumbled upon content like this to where you have people that can actually teach you the skill set that's required to make things happen. And so for me, I feel so fortunate because I was able to meet somebody before I had any positive or negative points on the board, right? The score was 0-0 when I met Kristian. And immediately I started going blowout after blowout after blowout, but he kept keeping me in the game. He kept going, look, you don't have to sub out. You don't have to actually like give up. You don't have to surrender. You can just keep going in. You can keep shooting your shot. It's okay. Whereas when I was alone, I thought that there was something so illegitimate about that. I thought that I wasn't allowed to do things like this. Especially like the people that we see as when I'm doing the approach, they watch me, they look at me, they stare at me, they stare at the girls that I'm talking to, and you can see the wheels turning in their head where they're like, is this allowed? Is he allowed to do this? Is he harassing these girls? And then they see me, that I get the Instagram, I get the number, and they're like, their whole world is turned around. So all this to say, what we talk about when we say putting points on the board is getting positive reference experiences, because it's like a loop. It's a feedback loop, right? You get a positive experience, then you're more encouraged to go in for the next approach. You go in for the next approach, you get a negative experience, but you have somebody beside you that's saying like, this is normal, this is okay, go in for the next approach, right? And as soon as you start getting this positive feedback loop, it's kind of like, we talk about momentum. It's really just, it's momentum. It's allowing yourself to build up this positive momentum to where you start getting so many positive experiences, so many positive interactions that you're like, okay, fuck the negative ones. Like, I've learned now at this point that it's okay to have bad experiences, that it's okay to have girls walk right away from me. Whereas if I had done this on my own, I would have thought, whoa, this is not allowed. Like, I'm not allowed to be doing this. So yeah, all this to say, it's positive reference experiences that we talk about when we say this positive feedback loop. And if you can get in contact with people that can allow you, can give you permission to have this positive feedback loop, then it can put you on the right trajectory to where you go from being so scared of the world, right? Being so scared of women, being so scared of going up to women, interacting with women, approaching women, to literally 9 months later. We worked together in April. It's January 2024, 9 months later, and I'm sipping Mai Tais on the fucking beach in Cyprus, and I'm going up to girls where Kristian's like, do you like her? And I'm like, yeah, I like her. And I'm fucking going up and I'm making double dates happen, right? So like, it's all about the positive feedback loop. And that's what we're trying to say here. So
Yeah, I think having
receiver, right?
that was a great catch.
Yeah,
That actually reminds me. So like, basically, we were in Nicosia together. No, in Limassol. In Limassol.
With Mario.
I threw this man a bottle of water. It was like 1 yard from the floor, and he managed to catch it. I was like, I don't know, I don't know how you managed to do that. But no, what you're talking about there is normalizing the negative, and I like that. Like normalizing the negative, like just being around people where like you go in for an approach, you have a blowout, you have a conversation that just doesn't go well, and like as soon as you come back to that person, it's like applause, like well done, bro, you did it, you went in for the thing. And it's like just having a community of like-minded people who understand it. Like I don't care if you consider yourself a seasoned player or you're completely new to this. Like, every single person can improve, every single person can get better, and every single person needs to be part of a network, needs to be part of a community. Like, if you are the perpetual lone wolf, you just try to go out there, do all this stuff on your own, you're fucked. You're not going to get anywhere. Like, wherever you can get on your own, you can get a million times faster and better if you're with a group of like-minded people. So that's why I put together my private network, the Entourage. So if you're someone who's listening to this, doesn't matter if you've been in the game for a long time or you're completely new to it or you've gotten a little bit rusty, whatever your situation is, you can go further if you're connected with the right people. So there's a link below, click it, you can apply to join our private network, the Entourage. The beautiful thing about the Entourage is it's not just a day game community, it's a life game community. Like, not only do you get the coaching, not only do you get the network and the community, but you also get an open invitation for an entire year to come and travel the world, not just with me, but with us.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it's about. It's like you can come like sipping Long Island iced teas in like.
Hey, we'll see you in Argentina.
We'll see you in Argentina in April, man. Like, it's like, that's what it needs to be about. It's a life game community of radically ambitious Renaissance warriors who just want the best for themselves. Like, if you don't want the best for yourself, then you're not the person that I'm speaking to. Like, I want the sort of person who has those empire visions, who wants to get more girls, yes, but also wants to make more money and become all like they can be in like the shortest space of time possible. I think if you're not having conversations on the regular with guys who you talk about, right, how can we become multi-millionaires? How can we conquer the world? How can we become the most fuckable, socially magnetic version of ourselves? And you're with the wrong people. You're playing it too small. Your visions are not strong enough. So I think the thing that I want to finish on is how do you think your overall like persona has changed? Like, in terms of like who you are now compared to who you were when we first, because I think this is probably going to hit and resonate with the people the most, because I remember when we first started working together, you were very different to the person that you are now. And it's not just like you've transformed your cold approach, you've transformed your approach to life in general. Like, you've basically gone from a boy to a man in like 9 or 10 months. So like, first of all, what do you think has been what do you think has been like the biggest improvements to yourself? And like, what do you think like have been your greatest highlights on this journey so far? If you can package that into like 4 minutes.
Okay, fair. So interesting person I was before I worked with Kristian, for sure. Yeah, I'd say still, even like the way I looked, I was pretty solid. Like, I had been in the gym for a few years. I had been working on my social skills. I had sales experience, but it was all about delivering what I had been able to accumulate. I couldn't deliver it to the world. And that is the key, which I'm realizing now is I thought I was fed this red pill manospheric propaganda, which I'm not going to say is positive or negative. I know Kristian has his thoughts on it. I'll be neutral, but I'll say that that's what I was subscribed to, right? I was subscribed to, I need to build, and then the women will come. And at 23 years old, what I realized is I had gotten fairly muscular. I looked like pretty chiseled in my physique. I had gotten a solid job, right? I was making 6 figures as a programmer at 23 years old. I had gotten solid social skills. I was working in sales. I had door-to-door experience. I had business-to-business experience, and I was a pretty solid salesperson. I was doing well. I was making a lot of money. I showed Kristian my paychecks, right? But in reality, what I learned is the key to all of this shit, regardless of what you have, is being able to deliver what you have to the world. So with all of this stuff that I thought that I had accumulated, I would still walk down the street and I would see a girl that I was so wildly attracted to, and in the back of my head I'd go like, yeah, there's no way I could approach her, right? But like, in a perfect world, if I was the fucking Giga Chad, I can go up right to that girl and say like, hey, I like you, do you like me, kind of a thing. And that's pretty much what cold approach is, right? It's like putting your cards on the table, letting her take a look at your cards and going like, yeah, I like you or I don't like you. And either way, it's okay. But the point is that you're willing to put your cards on the line. Whereas previous, I would just walk past the girl, right? I was too scared to show her the cards that I had in my hand, because I was like, well, what if she doesn't like me? Well, what if she has a boyfriend? Oh, what if she's married, right? Like there's all these like question marks going on in my mind. And the biggest one of all is, what will the other people think of what I'm doing when I go and approach her? That was like the biggest issue. Is if it was a girl that was like completely isolated, we were on an island and there was nobody around, maybe I would have mustered up the courage to go up to her. But the problem was that there were so many other people, so many other opinions, so many other brains around, that I was so like frozen in fear that I was like, I'm just gonna walk past this girl. And I know you know what I'm talking about, because if you've never done your first approach, then this is the reason why, right? It's because we're so scared of like the what if, of like, what if this person comes up and intervenes? What if that security guard thinks that I'm doing something shady? But I've said this already. You're just one person going up to another person and displaying what you have to offer. And if she's interested, then great. That is ideal. And if she's not interested, then life goes on, right? That's the key. I think that's the part to highlight, is that life still goes on. It doesn't end there. You go up to the girl, she's not interested, you don't get shot, right? Nobody comes up to you and punches you. That's what I used to think. For some irrational reason, I thought, my dad, he still calls me. He goes, hey, how are the girls in Cyprus, man? Like, when you go up to them, do people come and they sprint up to you and they go, what are you doing? Why are you harassing? No, none of this happens. It's because, honestly, the bold action that we're taking, it's so out of the norm for anybody, for any single person to actually do, that they see that and they kind of like, they soften up whatever they're thinking. Like they don't come up to you and they go, oh, what the fuck are you doing? Are you harassing me? No, they just go about their lives. They kind of like turn a blind eye because they're like, whoa, he's so hyper confident. They're like, I can't believe he's doing this. So remind me, what was your question?
Well, you kind of answered it, but like,
Okay.
I would like to know now anyway, like, what are your main highlights through this past 9-10 months? Like, what would you say, like, the moments that have stood out the most to you?
Yeah. Okay. So, the very first moment that stood out to me was when I went in for my very first approach. And
Bus stop girl.
Yeah, bus stop.
Yeah, bus stop girl.
We were in Warsaw, and I was walking with Kristian, and I was so scared. I have the video to prove it. He's posted the video on his channel to prove it, right? I recorded a video and I was like, holy shit, I have a few minutes before I go down and I meet Kristian, and I have to go in for my first approach. And I backed myself into a corner. I've flown to another continent. I've paid the man money. Like I've truly backed myself into a corner where if I don't go in for it, it's kind of like I just wasted a whole lot of time and energy and money, right? So, and that was on purpose. That's because I didn't want to have an option to turn back to. So the first proudest moment is that first approach. And it was so shit. We were walking past the girl. She was sitting at a bus stop, and I walked up straight up to her. She was sitting. There was like 3 elderly people next to her. And he goes, hey, go up to her, say, excuse me, do you speak English? I thought you were beautiful. And I did exactly that. I go up to her pretty quickly, right? I didn't know cadence or anything. So I go, excuse me, do you speak English? I thought you were so beautiful. And she goes, okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, I'm waiting for the bus. And then I just bail, right? I didn't know what the fuck to do. But I walked away from that experience, like, firstly realizing, whoa, this is possible. Like, there's nobody that's gonna come down and put me in a headlock and take me to jail for going up to a girl and expressing my interest. But I also realized, and this is more important, I realized that I'm allowed to act in spite of fear, because I was so scared to do it. And once I did it, it gave me permission to go in for the second approach. And the second approach was also shit. And the third approach was also shit. But it was reps on reps on reps until I realized, okay, like, as long as I build this the same way that I build any other skill set, I will get better at this. And now, over the past 9 months, I've just been building on it. And that's the key, right? It's like so many people, they get into this and they think, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna come to Warsaw, day game capital, and all of a sudden I'm gonna have the ability to do this stuff. And it's the reps that's important. It's every push-up that you do is making you stronger so that you can be a better person in the future as far as like being able to do the maximum number of push-ups, right? Chest workouts. In the same way, every approach that you do is unlocking the ability for you to do the next approach. And then I went in for 2, right? There was a girl with her friend and I went in and I realized nothing happens at the end of this. And then I went in for 3 and I realized, holy shit, nothing happens at the end of this. So long story short, to keep this brief, the first milestone for me was the first approach. That was the hardest thing for me. The second milestone for me was the first positive reference experience, was me going up to a girl and her actually like reciprocating interest in me and going like, wow, you look great. No, I'm not going to give you my number, but like, you also look great. Thank you for coming up to me and saying this. And then the third milestone was me getting a phone number, right? It's steps. It's literally baby steps to this stuff. And that's normal, right? That's any skill that you try to build. You have to just hit milestones on milestones and you'll get better in the process. So yeah, that's been my favorite highlight for sure for this journey.
Yeah, and now you're pulling Instagram models.
Yeah.
Video.
Oh, wait for that.
Video
incoming.
Video coming soon.
Plus the date content as well.
Plus the date content, yeah. Like Ephraim managed to pull an Instagram model in Paphos, in Cyprus.
70K.
70K followers on IG. Managed to like approach her, play the text game so well,
Yep.
and then get a date with her.
Yeah.
Like that evidence has got the loudest voice. Like that was like next level shit. Right, we planned to go for 30 minutes. We've done like we've done 40 minutes.
Hey,
but you know
it
what?
is.
We're just giving a shit ton of fucking values. Like we're just giving value. That's all we're doing. Like find me someone else who's doing daily live streams, giving you boys live advice, which is actually going to change your life. Not only that, bringing his clients onto the stream who can actually relay his credibility.
Yeah.
No one else is doing that. So yeah, link below. Join the Entourage. Come travel the world with us. You can link up with me, link up with Ephraim, link up with the rest of our guys. This is life-changing shit. Click the link below. Come and join us. Come work with me personally. Get mentored by me. Join my network. And then get a VIP pass to travel the world with me. Like, this is where it's at. There's nobody else who does this shit. Nobody else. Like, whoever you're following, stop following them because they are bullshit. They are fake gurus who are just going to give some talking head content. We're out here. We're living it. We're showing the proof on my channel, on Ephraim's channel. So yeah, link below. Apply to join us. Come work with me. Change your life forever. And yeah, we're gonna go enjoy the Cypriot nightlife. We love you all very much. If you are watching this live, then drop the stream a like. If you're watching it on replay, like it as well. Like just like the stream. We're making daily live streams every single day. I'm doing this for the rest of the year because I want to show up to show you boys that it's all about your dedication to the cause, right? If you're prepared to go all in with one thing and dedicate yourself to it entirely, then great things happen. Yeah, don't just be the guy who just half-asses it. Like, oh, I'll try it for a month. If I don't get results, I'm going to give up. Like, fuck you. Like, why are you giving up after a month? So yeah, like the stream. We'll see you again tomorrow. Did anybody leave any comments? Let's have a look. Ephraim, best spots to approach, the relax, enjoy, hey, are you doing good with your mental health? Just wanted to know. Oh, yeah, great.
Yeah, actually, I'm completely fucked. I'm planning on dolphin diving off this.
You don't, I have no idea. So yeah, just like, this is why I don't usually enable the live chat, because most of the comments are just stupid. Are you good with your mental health? Yeah, I'm getting more girls, I'm making more money, and my mum fucking loves me. Yeah. Everything's great. So
and we got a double date lined up too.
And we got a double date. So yeah, everything is good, but thank you for asking. Anyway, yeah, click the link below, apply to work with us. And yeah, just go out. Just treat the world like your personal playground. Don't die with your music still inside of you. If people don't like you as you are, fuck them. Keep going on your path, do what you want to do. Eternity's a long time. We're too long dead. So yeah, just enjoy yourselves. We love you, and we'll speak with you tomorrow.
Stay sexy, my friend.
Stay sexy.